it's Karen here from the Stitch Sessions, and I am delighted and excited to show you guys today how to crochet a solid octagon shape. Now, granny squares are super popular, always have been, always will be. The second most popular is the hexagon shape, but you know what? The octagon doesn't get a lot of love, and I wanted to show you guys how you can crochet a solid octagon. I have a mesh stitch octagon on the channel, and I have one other one. Oh yes, I do have a traditional granny octagon on the channel. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can crochet a solid octagon shape. And you can use this for so many fun, beautiful things. Of course, Afghans are one of them. You can see I used a variegated yarn for this particular one. And actually, I am using this one for a bag project. And I believe this tutorial will come out after that bag project is released. So I will make sure to leave it for you in the description box down below. I made a really cute summer bucket bag project. So make sure to check that out. So in any case, this is what we're going to work on today. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to begin with a cinch circle. Now you can use a chain 4 to begin if you like. I just like the center to be cinched in closed. So I'm going to start with a cinch circle. It looks like a slip knot, and I'm going to pull up a loop, but I'm not going to pull this close. So this is the ring that we're going to be working into. So if you're new to this, it's going to be a little awkward at the beginning. And then I'm going to chain 1 to secure the ring, okay? And I have a full tutorial all about cinch circles if you're really new and need some practice. I'll leave that link down below. Worst case scenario, if you really are much more comfortable with the chain 4, then just go ahead and do that. It's not a big deal. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to chain an additional 2. So we have 1 and 2. This is going to count as a double crochet stitch. Now what we want to do is we want to proceed to crochet 7 more double crochets into the ring. So you're going to yarn over and insert into the ring. Make sure you go over that tail as well, because we'll need that tail to cinch our circle shut. And then you just resolve like a regular double crochet. So once I'm finished with round number 1, I should have a total of 8 double crochets, and this should include your chain 3 at the beginning, because that will count as a double crochet. 5, 6, 7, and here is 8. Okay, so there's 8 double crochets, including that chain 3. And now what I want to do is I want to take that tail and I want to pull on it. So see, that center gets cinched in shut, and then you want to pull a little bit more because there's more yarn that needs to come through. So nice and tight. Now you'll notice that 8 double crochets is usually not enough. Usually we do 12, but because of the motif we're using, 8 is my magic number. So do not fret about this. This will work itself out. So what we want to do is we want to go to the top of that first chain 3 we did, and we're just going to bring it over, and we are going to insert our hook and slip stitch to join the ring there. Just like that. Okay. And so now round 1 is complete. This is the center of the base of our bag. So now we're going to go on to round number 2. And in round number 2, you'll see that this is going to flatten out quite nicely. So to begin, we are going to chain 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this chain 4 will count as a double crochet and a chain 1 space. You're then going to go back into this same stitch here, and you're going to place a double crochet. So essentially, we are creating a V stitch. So despite our center feeling like it's all scrunched in, round 2 will start to relax out. So essentially what we've done is we've done a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. That is what we're going to do into every single stitch. So now you would proceed to the next stitch right beside it, and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to insert your hook, you're going to double crochet, then chain 1 and double crochet again back into that same stitch. Okay, so you have something that looks like that. So you'll have a chain 1 space, and then it looks like 2 double crochets are beside each other. They each belong to 2 different stitches, but that is the look here. So once you're done round number 2, you should have a total of 16 double crochets. We're not counting the chain 1s just yet. So go ahead and do that all the way around for round number 2. Okay, so I've come to the end of round number 2. And now be careful here, because sometimes this looks like it's a stitch. It is not. It's a false stitch, we call it. And if you can see here, that is where we slip stitched from the previous round. So if you're ever unsure, just go back and count. You should have 8 sets of these V stitches, and I do. So all you're going to do is you're just going to go over to the top of the 3rd chain here, which is right here, and you will slip stitch to join round number 2. Okay, so now you have something that looks like this, and you can see that the circle now sits flat. So once you add a few more stitches in there, it really helps to spread things out. Okay, let's go on to round number 3. So before we actually go on to round number 3, let's chat about something. So these V stitches actually act as corners. In a traditional granny corner, we usually would do whatever the stitch is and then chain 2 and the stitch again. And the 2 chains helps that corner to really bend, to bend and be nicely defined. Now, here I want to be careful because I don't want to overload too many stitches here, otherwise your work will ripple. So in this example, we're just doing a chain 1 for our corners, and you can see it kind of wants to take shape here a little bit. So we know that an octagon has 8 sides and 8 corners. So in round number 3, you're going to see that becoming a lot more pronounced. So anytime you come across your V stitch, you will always place a V stitch in there. Anytime you come across a regular stitch, you will just put a regular stitch in there. So you'll see what I mean. So we're going to begin round number 3. I'm going to slip stitch into this chain space, and I'm going to begin from the corner space. I always like beginning from corners because it kind of hides the seam a little bit. So we're going to chain 4 again. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now notice how when I slip stitched over, it looks like it creates an extra stitch. That's what we saw down here. So just keep that in mind when you come back around. And again, I'm going to go back into that chain space and double crochet. So I've got a V stitch inside a V. Now what I want to do is I want to work into these next 2 stitches. So make sure that you move this over, because this first stitch can get hidden a lot of the times. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, and you're going to place a double crochet. Then you will go into the next stitch here and do the same thing. So what we're seeing in this round is after your V stitch, there will always be 2 solid stitches on their own, okay? Because next we come to a chain 1 space, so which is the V stitch. So inside a V, we're always going to place a V stitch. So that's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then into the next 2 stitches, I'm just going to place 1 double crochet into each. So there's 1 and there's 2. And then we have our V stitch, and you know what to do. So you're going to proceed to do that all the way around. And so then you should have 32 stitches at the end of this round. So we know that we've got 8 sides. So you can see now the corners are starting to come through. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times 8 sides should give you 32 stitches. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end here of round number 3, and you just want to remember not to miss this stitch right here. So we have to have 2 stitches between each V here. And so now in the past, we would have said, oh, that's the fake stitch, but it's actually not, because this is the stitch we want to work into right there. And then this is the fake stitch right there. So we do not work into that. So then we find the top of the third chain and slip stitch to join. And a great way to double check your work is, remember I said there's 4 stitches between the chain spaces. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that chain 3 counts as 1. So that's how you know you're on the right track. So that's why, you know, counting does help. I know not everybody likes to count. But so now, okay, now you're starting to see a shape subtly coming through. So we've got our 8 sides, they're very subtle, and 8 very soft points. So now let's go on to round number 4. And then once I get you on round number 4, the rest will just be a nice, easy repetition of your motif. So again, I'm going to slip stitch over into the chain 1 space. Then I will always chain 4 to begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll go back into that chain space and double crochet. Okay. And then make sure that I do not miss that first stitch. So I double crochet 1 into every single stitch until I hit my next corner or my next chain 1 space. So you're going to insert into every stitch here. And that is my last one here. Okay, and now I'm at my corner or my chain 1 space. So I insert into that space, a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Really, really straightforward. So from here on out, however many rounds you do, you will always place a V-stitch inside a V-stitch. It's a great way to remember it. So now in between the spaces, I'm going to count all of the stitches. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. So I had 4 stitches and now I have 6 stitches. Okay, so you would proceed to do that here and then the corner, side, corner. So at the end of round number 4, 6 stitches times 8 sides is going to give you 48 stitches. Okay, so just go ahead and do that all the way around. And then we'll just chit chat about how you would continue on and something to look for as you do more rounds in your octagon shape. Okay, so I have finished round number 4, and now you can really see our octagon shape here, okay? And I have a total of 48 stitches. So you are now going to proceed to just repeat everything we've done in round number 4. So anytime you see a V-stitch, you place a V-stitch, and then anytime you see regular stitches, you just place a regular stitch in each stitch. Now, one little thing to keep in mind is as you do more rounds, I should say, sometimes, you know, placing the stitch right in here, the first one, and then one over here, it creates a little bit of a crowding effect. And it's just simply because there's a lot of increases or a lot of corners in this motif, so it might start to ripple a little bit. So here, it did start to want to do that. And so I kept the basic pattern the same up until about round number 6. So here you can see there's my V-stitch, and I always made sure never to miss that stitch beside the V right there, okay? But now this is round number 7, and you can see, hopefully that makes sense to you, you can see that I actually did not work into this stitch. And so that one simple little thing helped to relax the ripple. So I would say gauge it. Once you get up to around round 5, if it's starting to kind of ripple like this and buckle, that means we've got too many stitches going on. And this also is a common thing that happens in the hexagon motif. And unless, of course, you want to work on hexagon cardigans, which are super popular, then overloading is what you want. But here we do not want it to overload. We want it to stay flat. So it's a really important piece of information. Anytime you're working on these types of motifs that have basically more than 4 corners, you're going to run that risk. So I would continue to repeat our pattern, round number 4. I would repeat exactly the same for round number 5 and even round number 6. That might be around the time when you're going to see a ripple. Now, if you are a tight crocheter, you might see it a little bit sooner. So maybe after round 4, you might already start to see some rippling. So in this case, you would just skip working into this stitch, and then it should work itself out. So basically, in this case, for round 7, 8, and 9, I skipped that first stitch, but you can see here in round 10, then I did work into it because I felt like it was flattening out. So I hope that makes sense. It's just kind of, if you need to kind of hear it again, just kind of rewind the video and listen to the detail again, because like I said, it is important that it will help out to mitigate in case you come across that situation. So that is pretty much it. And this is how, after 10 rounds, so in this case I made 10 rounds, this is what your octagon shape looks like. And I just think it's so beautiful in the solid. And you can see where the corners are, that it just creates this pretty, pretty little pattern. So now I'm curious to find out what you think you will make with this motif. Maybe it's giving you some inspiration on something you'd like to create. Now I did this one in a variegated yarn, but you can do yours in solid colors. Maybe you want to do a whole variety of colors. This would actually be really great to use up some scrap yarn if you want to do some color blocking. You could actually make a funky scarf with this too. That would be kind of cool. So if you had several larger ones, obviously this is too small, but just attach them on the sides here, it would be a really funky shaped scarf. Let us know. We're always looking for inspiration. Drop it for us in the comment box down below. All right, guys. Well, I hope this was pretty straightforward and maybe demystified how to create this shape. If you have any further questions, you can always leave it for me in the comment box down below. And if you want to email me directly, you can absolutely do that as well. Make sure to send your emails to info@crochetcrafty.com. And I would always recommend attaching a photo of your work so I can have a little bit of a closer look and be able to better answer your question. And as always, check out the website. There's a lot of great resource tools there for you. Sizing charts, planning checklists, things like that. There's a bunch of free written patterns, as well as a link to my Etsy shop if you'd like to dive deeper into some crochet design. All right, guys, that's it for me today. If you want to come say hi, check me out. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at The Stitch Sessions. And I hope I'll see you again next Wednesday. I upload a brand new tutorial every week on Wednesday mornings. So happy crocheting, everyone. Take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in next week's session. Bye-bye.